So I'm about to fly away for a business trip, and I have other things to review on the way. However, we're gonna take a little bit of a different approach this week. And Samica, can you come here? Wrong side.
Hi.
Hi. Can you review these or just test these out while I'm gone?
Sure.
So these are Truefrees. They are wireless open ear headphones. And I just need you to listen to these and try these on workouts. And then we'll come back and talk about how you feel about them. I will try them too later, but I need your thoughts.
Sure.
See you in a bit, but she's gonna try them out.
Bye.
So right when I started testing, my groceries came. So they're actually connected to my laptop, and I'm in my kitchen 2 rooms over testing, so I can put my groceries away. And still connected, still sounds great. So far so good. Let's put away my groceries. I will say, I'm listening to EDM and the beat isn't totally popping to me right now. I like it, but I'm not enthralled by the sound right now. We'll see. We'll keep testing it. Voices in this meeting sound really clear. I can hear everything going on in my living room in addition though. I have an air purifier right here, and I can hear the hum of the air purifier as well as my boss talking in this meeting. A little bit distracting, but the voices actually come through really, really clearly. All right, so I just switched the headphones from my laptop to my phone, and that's where I'm recording this so that you can see how this sounds indoors. So this is actually the mic connected to the headphones, and this is how it sounds. I also noticed that in the last video, it picked up a lot of the air purifier that I have right next to my desk. So I just turned that off, and we're going to do another sound sample so you see how this sounds without the air purifier in the background.
Alrighty, so we're heading to our workout and we're going to test these and see how they help. I have to say, especially when I'm outside, I find myself upping the volume to the max. It does make a sound when you go as high as it possibly can be for the volume, but I keep trying to go higher, so the music is more engulfing, but it doesn't work. Anyway, just something I've noticed only when I'm outside, really.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Keep working. Yep.
So, verdict, I would not wear these to work out. They're just not stable enough in your ear. I had to keep readjusting, and at some point it even fell out completely, even though I was laying down, pressing weights, and just moved my head a little bit. The left one just fell out.
Like I said, I went by a whole bunch of freaking stuff.
All right, well that fell.
But there would be people.
The left one fell. Crazy.
I probably hear.
No, you didn't.
Oh, I did?
The right one was always feeling a little bit unstable. So great for stationary activities like studying or working, and even walking, it's fine. It feels pretty stable. But if you're doing any sudden movements, or if you're working out, jumping around, or even weightlifting, as you saw, not the best for that, unfortunately.
So I'm back from my business trip, and you guys were able to see what Samica thought for the first week with these headphones. I picked these up from her, and I was able to get my own thoughts over the last few days just to see if her thoughts were valid, if I agree, and things like that. Let's start off with fit. So these are actually very comfortable on ear. They don't weigh you down at all, and they're relatively well balanced. The one thing that I'll say is that this design is, you know, very akin to what we see in other air-conditioned headphones, except it doesn't have the band on the back. And the reason why that's really nice is because that means I can do bench presses, I can do overhead tricep extensions, things that usually that band is intrusive because it's not super adaptable. This is where this gets solved. Also really close to the ear. They don't protrude too much. They're pretty sleek on your head. They're not a big cumbersome, but it's just need to be very cognizant of how these will fit when you're being super active. The thing that kind of like sucks about this is that just like every other air-conditioned headphone I've seen of this design, this band is not very flexible. It doesn't allow you to bend it and hold it. It doesn't have like a wire in there that'll keep things in place. It's really just a flexible rubber piece that, you know, will relatively fit over your ear. However, just like the other ones that we've tested, if you hold them on your ear or right over your ear holes, the drivers will actually perform better, both from an isolation perspective, sound quality perspective, volume perspective. Just a lot of things are improved by that. So if they could find a way to give us this form factor, but allow us to point the driver towards our ear hole a little bit better, it would probably act a lot better. And that's kind of where I had issues when I was outdoors. When I was using these in the field, while it was amazing that I could kind of run anywhere, again, I was getting like a football length of field between my phone and my headphones, where I could just run wherever. The problem is that now it's not sunny in Boston, it's getting windy, it's getting that fall weather. That wind really encumbers the sound quality, but also encumbers the volume. I will say that the volume is a lot better than I've heard with other air conduction headphones. Like, it does, you know, perform a lot more solid. Like, I can boost this to 100% and still have a solid listening experience. It's not too encumbered, but just like she said, you always wanted more with these kind of arrangements, because they're not engulfing your ear, they're not isolating your ear out, so you're hearing a lot of external noise that's going to get in the way of volume, performance, and sound quality. But in terms of longevity, this will definitely last you through your entire work session and well beyond that. You probably get through a whole work week working long hours, because this is 10 hours per charge, 45 in the whole sort of kit and caboodle, so plenty of battery in these guys. But they should, because this is freaking gigantic. Look how big this case is. It is, you know, you can fit in the backpack. It's not the easiest thing to pocket, but, you know, if you want to have this form factor with the loops and everything, you kind of have to sacrifice a bigger form factor here. But, you know, fast charging, long battery life is the benefit of the bigger case. When I was using these for conferencing, they worked really well. Customers were able to hear me extremely well. The only problem was the environmental noise was still an issue. So they do have noise canceling on them, and I will say that they are solid, but they don't necessarily do good noise canceling like some of the top of the line guys, like, you know, B&O, Sony, you know, the regular players in the game. But, you know, they do a solid, they probably reduce like 40% of external noises, but if you have some really loud white noise machines or something like that, or long droning like airplane or whatever, it'll be heard over the recordings. So that's just something to be wary of if you are trying to use these for conferencing. But again, most of what Samica went through, I kind of had the same experience. The big thing I wanted to go through is sound quality. And normally, you know, I will go through and give you guys some samples, but again, because they're air conditioned headphones and I can't point the drivers towards the proper arrangement and I can't get a seal, this microphone will not perform well. So I'm just going to have to tell you guys what I thought about these particular recordings. So the first song that we went through is by Tatsuya Kitani, Where's Our Blue, very popular song right now due to 𝐷𝐿𝐴. This song is good because it goes through swings of like calm parts and very complex high energy parts. This one, just this is where I started getting the signature of these headphones. Is very peaky. So like when he was singing at full max, his vocals were getting super limited. Like you could feel like there should be a little bit more, but it's just peaking, and then that sound quality goes down. Also, when they started off in the beginning, it's relatively fine, but then once they start introducing the drums and the guitars and the full arrangement of instruments, it gets super messy, and it's really hard to keep up with all of the different parts because it sounds more cacophonous than it does harmonious. Vocals sometimes shine all right. So like Fluorescent Adolescent by Arctic Monkeys is a good example of this. When they went through their entire song, their vocals are pretty solid. I do like how they were rendered through this sort of open ear arrangement, but I did notice that, especially at higher volumes, the bass lines just lost some power and they get buzzy. Like instead of having a thump or like a groove to them, they just which is kind of annoying. So like it just doesn't give the darkness to the songs, but vocals might be able to shine accordingly. This is also extremely shown in All the Lights by Alexander Lewis and Brass Tracks. Is a super horn heavy track where the intro before they introduce every instrument is really good. When it's just like one horn, when it's just, you know, the really simple percussive elements, it's fine. But then once you start bringing in the trombone, the saxophone, everything that they have in their arsenal, that's when you start hearing everything go to shit, because the bass lines sound buzzy and then all of the horns peak. Like you're just like, woof, this is super sibilant because every treble is peaked out. And you know, obviously with horns, they're gonna peak out if you don't have the song tuned right. But however, Brass Tracks usually tunes these right. I think it's just how these are tuned. Super treble focused, and they peak, and the song is kind of lost to me once they get into full arrangement mode. So again, there's songs where it'll probably be a little bit softer and these will work better, but high energy, you know, multi-instrument sort of things where you want that separation for clarity, probably not going to get them out of these ones. Mimi's delivery service by Good Kid, another thing here that was kind of a strange thing. They're very vocal forward. There is a lot of instruments involved. However, it didn't get messy more so than it just lost a lot of energy. So when you listen to him singing, you're like, oh, I can hear his voice pretty solid. Like there's no peaking, it's pretty good. But when they start trying to get to the more energetic portions, there's just meat missing. There's just something about the energy that's supposed to push you forward in the song that just is missing there. And I don't know what it is. It's not peaking or anything like that. It just feels like it's a little emaciated, and it doesn't have that sort of oomph that you would want to push you through the song. The one song that I did see that was awesome was Oh Devil by Electric Guest. This thing sounded great. I had no problems with this. It was mixed relatively well. The balance was good. The vocals weren't overpowering. The instruments were nicely complemented to the voices. So yeah, Oh Devil was fine. You know, Electric Guest actually in a lot of their songs it was good. So it's really just going to depend on your genres. I probably hit like a 20% hit rate in terms of the songs where it was fine for these headphones. But you know, it's something you have to test, and I wish I could give you guys samples so you could hear yourself. But again, my microphone setup that I have for these tests are not optimized for open ear or air conduction headphones. Well, maybe I'll try to find something for that. So I know some of you will ask about the application. The app is solid, nothing crazy. It's mostly just EQ and multi-guy. You know, multi-connect. The multi-connect is solid. I was able to go between computer and phone relatively easy. And everything else in there is game mode. Again, just will emphasize a little bit more bass and thumps for your action sounds. I never really used it. I didn't really see a big difference. And then obviously you have various options in terms of presets, equalizer, and adaptive. The thing that I will say is that I just found myself in the classic mode because equalizing this didn't give me enough changes that I could really identify anything. And because these are open ear, the adaptive just gets a little bit weird because there's like tones that I normally can hear, but I can't hear them because of that space between the driver and my ear. And again, the placement matters. So while I did try to use the adaptive to get a better EQ, it just rendered it worse. So ended up going just with the classic, which made it sound the best of the bunch. So application's all right. It does what it needs to. For other headphones, I'm sure it'll push out a little bit more quality. But for these ones particular, it's just a harder ask because of the open ear nature. So overall, These guys are, I think they retail for around $60, but right now you can get them on Amazon for about $40. I don't know if I can recommend them. There's just some stuff around them that just, I wish they were a little bit more secure. Like being able to put those drivers right in your ears, super important. And especially because like if you're doing jumping and sort of things like that, these things will fall out. So you saw that Samica was just doing lifting and they fell out of her ear because of her hair. And then like for jump roping, for me, it actually stayed in pretty well. And I don't really notice any differences. But as you play with the controls, they're just a little bit annoying against your ear. And if I shook hard enough, I can take one out. So like the security is an issue here, and just having a more flexible wire probably would help with that security and also sound quality. But while the connection is super solid, the multi-connect is super good, there's just a lot of like mid stuff. Like it's just like mid sound quality, mid microphones. It's just nothing that I can super recommend right out the gate. But these might fit for you if you are using this for particular scenarios, like just indoor workouts. You want to just be inside when you're using these for listening. But if you're trying to do outdoor workouts, the wind's just going to be a big problem for you, especially if you're doing something super dynamic like field workouts. There's a high probability these will fall out. So make sure this is good for your use case, but otherwise it's a not recommend for me, unfortunately. But if you guys have any other questions about more workout headphones or headphones in general or tech in general, obviously put it in the comments. I'm always looking for more suggestions on what to push on this channel. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Socials are also available in the end card. But if you could, please like, comment, subscribe, do all the things you normally do on a video that you like and love. And to my OGs, thank you so much for engaging in all the content. It really helps us partner with other companies so we can bring some new tech to the channel. See if you like it, and I'll test the crap out of it as usual. Anyway, we got to get ready for a trip to Puerto Rico, and I'm definitely bringing some of this tech along with me so I can see what is cool and what is not. So stick tuned if you guys want to see any of that. But as always, I appreciate ya. Peace. See you soon.